You are now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
Come on, it's time, bitches. This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. It is Tuesday night. We are here to recap week 6 of the NFL and take a look into week 7, the Thursday night game. We got guards going on right now. I got the game on right here. I'm probably going to be a little distracted. Runners on first and second, one out. Guards threatening to score and make this fucking a game again. Ooh, nope, he checked. He's good. We're good. All right, man, we got week 6 recap. Ooh, I'm going to be hyped for this show. My man, Evo, how you doing? Welcome in, brother.
Doing good, man. It was a rough weekend, not only for us betting wise, but for me just having to watch everyone else play football while my team, kind of sat back, relaxed, had to listen to reports of Sam Darnold, dating old Hawk Tua, Haley Welch, apparently. No idea if that's confirmed or not, because I will not be watching that podcast to figure out if she actually said so. But overall, fun week of football. But again, not the greatest betting for myself for sure. You, I think, broke even. Yeah. So, went into the betting yesterday saying wasn't so sure it was going to be a good time, or not yesterday, but on Sunday. And
on Sunday, yeah, you're like, I don't necessarily love all of these picks. They make sense. And that's a tough week, man. Like whenever you have a week like that where you obviously got to pick every game. We're picking every game every week. Sometimes you come out on the right end, sometimes you don't. But I mean, I'll take even. I went 7-7. You go 6-8. We'll pop it up here for the people. As soon as I find the window, there it is. I go 7-7. You go 6-8. Tough start for your day. We both missed on the Jags that early morning. Commanders, close game, 6.5. That was tough. 7-point game. We both on the Bucks. Bucks smashed the fucking Saints. You took the Browns. Smart play. I missed the Browns twice. They lost, and I didn't get the cover by the Eagles, so that was terrible. I did get the Colts to cover, though. UO Titans, both on the Texans, both missed Cardinals, both missed the Broncos. I don't know why I thought the Raiders would come back and maybe play decent. Steelers, you get there. Once again, I don't know why you go with the Falcons. I don't know why you go with the Panthers. I go with the Falcons. Both on the Lions. Both miss on the Giants close, and then both kill with the Bills. Not a great week by any means, but not terrible. Could have been a lot worse.
So can you hear me right now?
I can hear you, but you are frozen AF on the screen.
Yeah. So as you started talking, all my monitors shut off. It was like there's a power surge or something. And now my camera will not turn back on. So I'm going to do some fidgeting here to try to get it to work.
Well, you know what's great, though? At least it froze on a good picture of you. It's not like
not me with my mouth agape or something like that. That would be terrible.
That would be terrible. All right. Well, while you work that problem, you want to start diving into some of the football that took place this last week? We can go all the way back to our Thursday game. Quick recap of that game, and then start rolling into Sunday. Or do you think we hit Thursday good enough Sunday morning?
We might as well just recap Thursday just real quick just to make sure that we got it.
Yeah. All right. So rolling back to Thursday night, we had the 49ers taking on the Seahawks. 49ers get the win 36-24. Listen, man, Brock Purdy is a dog. He is super efficient. Super efficient with the ball. Like he is everything that you want out of a quarterback, late round quarterback. Like is eventually going to cost a lot of money, but right now this team is still very good. They have a potential to continue to grow. The running game, they found a lot of different ways to go about doing it. I mean, this is a Shanahan offense. They're going to continue to find ways to run the ball. What did you see from this game that really stood out to you? I mean, for me, it was all 49ers. The Seahawks are a decent team, but once again, they don't wow in any facet. They don't really disappoint too much. They're just kind of a nice, decent, middling team.
Yeah, look, like the Seahawks, they got away from having any semblance of a run game. I think that is important. They started to fall back on their heels and feel like they needed to move to the passing game, which ended up opening up Geno Smith to kind of being targeted. He was able to get those 2 interceptions. And on the flip side, the run game really controlled everything for the 49ers. Being able to have 2 running backs have phenomenal games, above 5 yards per carry rushing in both Jordan Mason and Guerrero after Mason goes down, with injuries and whatnot. And Mason's still 9 rushes, 73 yards. Guerrero, 10 rushes, 99 yards. They were able to just completely dominate on the field running the ball. That sort of play is going to open up all the passing game for you. It was a good, complete game for the 49ers. We still want to see a little bit better from their defense specifically, just because, 24 points isn't always going to be sustainable. But if your offense is able to put up the 36, then you're going to be good to go there. The thing with Seattle is that, they are hurting right now on the defensive line. They just made a trade with the Jaguars, I believe, yesterday in order to acquire a defensive lineman who I personally am not familiar with, but I understand that he is supposed to be pretty good to help kind of bolster that D-line. So we'll see if it gets any sort of help there, but they've just been beat up along that D-line. So if they're not able to use that D-line to stop the run, they're going to just kind of get walked all over. And with that, I am actually going to hyper quick reset all my shit because it looks like my camera is just not
going to do it
until I get back a restart. So I will be back shortly.
All right. Evil will be back. We'll see how long it takes him. Hopefully not too long. Guardians game still going on. Did not score in that last inning for the Guardians. We are recapping week 6 of the NFL. Just got done going over the Thursday night game. We'll move into the Jacksonville-Chicago game. It took place Sunday morning. And you know what? This is a game that I expected the Jags to come out. They've been to England so many fucking times that you would think that this team would know how to travel, but they're down bad right now. They do not necessarily have a good squad in any facet. Their running backs, Tank Bigsby, we kind of thought he was going to take the leap forward. That hasn't happened. Etienne is still not doing a great job. Sitting on my fantasy team, scoring me basically no fucking points, if not negative points. And on the opposite side, we got the Bears, who are really kind of starting to find their stride. Caleb Williams, 23-29, 226 yards, not a ton of yards, but 4 touchdowns, incredibly efficient. Got the 1 pick, but he's a rookie. He's going to make some mistakes. DeAndre Swift continues to keep rolling, and Cole Kmet is a massive weapon for a Caleb Williams, kind of that security blanket that has really, helped bring Caleb along. So, Evo, we are into the Jacksonville and the Chicago game. Jags, not great, man. That running game could not get going. Bigsby couldn't get going. Etienne is obviously not doing great. He's basically worthless at this point. And this Bears team is continuing to get better. Caleb Williams, what'd you see?
Yeah, look, we are seeing a good amount of growth from Caleb Williams. That offensive line, for as bad as it was to start the year, is getting better, but also they've just not been going up against like that talented of pass rushes. I mean, you have the Jags, you have the Panthers, and the Rams the last 3 weeks. It's kind of tough for an offense not to look good against that defense. So I'm still kind of holding my breath a little bit to see if this is actually what's happening with the Bears. Like Caleb obviously looks like he's progressing. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, that sort of productivity. You can't shake a stick at, because you could still throw Deshaun Watson out there and you're probably not going to get this sort of production. So that's a good step in the right direction for Chicago. But that being said, like on the flip side, your Jaguars just look absolutely beat. It's bad when you've got Peterson, saying that they need culture change. It's bad when you have your own players basically saying like we are giving up before we should, and calling out the guys that they're out there fighting with. And to see the flops from a lot of those offensive players on Jacksonville. Like, I don't think their defense is very good, but their offense just has a bunch of talent, and they are not making use of it whatsoever. To have Etienne 3 carries for -1 yard, Bigsby, who looked really good last week, only get 24 yards on 7 carries, and Dearness Johnson 6 carries, 28 yards. Those are all negligible running plays. You got Evan Engram, who's a pretty solid tight end, but you went out and got Gabe Davis and drafted Brian Thomas Jr. And Thomas Jr. looked fantastic last week, but then nothing since then. Like 3 catches for 27 yards. Like, you were just not getting the most out of your talented offensive players. And as much as that's, just a bad team, it kind of makes me think like, what's going on with Doug Peterson? Because he should be the one out there getting something from this offense with all that talent. He's done more with less, like when he was in Philly with Big Dick Nick.
Yeah.
Like you did more with less. And I don't think it's all Lawrence either. I mean, he didn't have a statistically terrible day by any means either. Like, they're just not scheming correct. I don't know what the answer is. And I think that they are in the same boat where at 1-5, like some of these other teams that are not doing well are going to be in the midst of a fire sale. Like I said, the Jags just traded off one of the defensive tackles. They've got at least 2 offensive linemen who could be looking at being shipped. They traded for Ezra Cleveland last year, but he's an option at guard who could be shipped off. You also have Brandon Scherf, who is on the last year of his deal, a veteran, stalwart offensive lineman. There's a lot of teams out there that could use more O-lines, mine included. Especially along the interior. I would love him at guard. Like, they could sell these guys off. They're probably not going to get a ton for like a Scherf just because of his age and the contract, and it's a half-year rental at this point. But like, you might see them start to offload some of these assets. I don't know how much on the offense they would really move on from, other than offensive linemen. But there's some guys on the defense that they could try to swing to get a little extra draft capital next year. But I mean, the organization just feels terrible right now. Like, the year is generally lost to them. I think it is a foregone conclusion that Doug Peterson has got a very uphill battle to keep his job much longer going in the future, which is sad because I think that he's not a terrible coach. I'm not a huge Doug Peterson fan. I absolutely hate.
Evo froze again. This time, his mouth is agape. What an unfortunate series of events. There it was.
I say I never lost myself on my side.
Oh man, you froze like a motherfucker on mine.
All right. Well, I'm here. But like either way, like I feel like it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to be fired. I think Balky probably ruined this team to an extent, but when you have that much offensive talent, it's got to go on the offensive head coach as well. So I don't think he's long in the tooth for this year being a head coach.
Yeah, I think there's going to be. It already happened once, so teams are not going to be leery about being the first one to pull the trigger on a head coach this year. That Band-Aid's already been ripped off.
And they have another game in London this week. I don't think that they would fire him midweek in London. Like they're going to ride out this. They're going to ride out this. What is not completely an away stretch, but it is. You're away from home. I think that they'll ride that out. If they get another L next week, yeah, that's probably all she wrote.
I agree. All right, moving on to the next game. We had Cardinals at the Packers. We did not get this game right. Cardinals fans were expecting, I think, to compete in this game, and it just did not work out at all. Kyler, I mean, was okay, but the Cardinals defense was just not very good. Fuck yeah, error. Jordan Love dropped fucking 4 touchdowns on this Cardinals defense. I mean, he played pretty decent. I don't know that he played spectacular. The numbers suggest he played all right, though. Is that a factor? Is that Jordan Love getting more healthy? Or is this Cardinals defense just really kind of shitty?
It's a mix of both. I mean, so when you're kind of top guys and you don't have many top guys in this Cardinals defense, but like Dennis Gardeck, we didn't get much out of him. We didn't get a ton out of Budda Baker other than a bunch of tackles. And then you have a whole bunch of whatever kind of back there. There's no star power on that defense, whereas the offense does have some big hitters, but it was the offense that didn't stay competitive at all. And that gives Green Bay the option to basically open up their entire playbook, do whatever they want because they're playing with a lead. And then Jordan Love, like that knee is progressively going to get better unless he takes a really bad hit. And when you're playing that easy at home, like not any pressure, he's just going to kind of be able to sit back there and do what he wants. So 4 touchdowns is not a huge surprise. Only 258 passing yards on 4 touchdowns, which means that they were obviously pretty damn good at moving the ball on the ground, and 179 rushing yards. You absolutely see that, you know, and they spread that out to fucking everybody and their mom in their rushing attack. Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, Bo Melton, Chris Brooks, whoever the fuck that is, Tucker Kraft, tight end, Jaden Reed, and yeah, Jordan Love got a little bit of love in there as well, running the ball. 179 yards and no touchdowns. Realistically, this is more like a 2 touchdown day for Jordan Love and a 2 rushing touchdown. Like that's the normal sort of stat line you would see here for the amount of offensive production that they had. It just happens to be that they passed them all on relatively short yardage. So, but yeah, offensively, the Cardinals did nothing to really stay in this game. James Conner was a ghost. Trey Benson, the rookie, got just as much play as James Conner did. Kyler's stats weren't bad by any means, but you know, you've got to find a way to utilize your passing weapons better. And I get it. MHJ went down with a concussion, but he didn't go down with a concussion immediately. I mean, he only had 2 targets, and on that second target is when he got knocked out with the concussion. But Michael Wilson has been showing up good this year. Connor in the pass game has been showing up good this year. Trey McBride finally had another really good game there, 8 catches, 96 yards. But you've got other receiving options that you really need to be utilizing better and making better use of Marvin Harrison. Like, I think it's a travesty how bad Marvin Harrison has looked so far. I don't think it's his fault, but he's had 1 good game.
Yeah.
Like, for as good as he can be or should be, Malik Neighbors has looked so much better.
Every bit of wide receiver 1 right now, Malik Neighbors would be. I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. even wide receiver number 2 as a rookie at this point. I mean, Brian Thomas has probably had production.
Brian Thomas has looked better for sure.
Yeah, like that's not great. Listen, I believe
Roma Dunze isn't doing anything super special either, but he's been
He's
more of a part of
buried
the
on that depth
offense.
chart, though.
Yeah, and he still is getting a couple targets a couple catches per game at least.
Mhm.
So it's not like they just aren't using Harrison for some reason. I don't know why.
God. Oh, here we go, baby. David Fry coming up to bat, bases loaded. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Oh,
David
you're good.
Fry, king of Cleveland, the savior of what happened here in the series against Detroit.
But either way, I think this is going to kind of be what we see from the Packers, excuse me, not the Packers, the Cardinals this year. It's going to be wide varying oscillations. They're going to compete with teams that you wouldn't think that they would. And then other teams where you think they've got a shot, they're just going to kind of lay a stinker like this. And that's what's going to keep them as a 500 to sub 500 team overall, probably.
Yep. All right. Moving on to the next game, we had Colts going out to Tennessee, taking on the Titans. Bro, Will Levis fucking sucks at playing quarterback. You can't keep trotting him out there, right? Like, this is the same situation going on in Cleveland. What they cannot, in good conscience, tell the team that this guy gives us the best option to win. 16 of 27 for 95 yards. That's a Bo Nix fucking stat line.
And especially later on in the game, they were going up against this Colts defense, which is relatively anemic, not very good. And they weren't able to get anything going where, like, the ball just kept on getting plopped in their hands to go make a drive and get a score to at least tie it, get a field goal. But yeah, it was a rough one. Joe Flacco didn't look terrible, but absolutely looked better than Levis in that respect.
Joe Flacco's old enough, smart enough to know what he's got to do to get a win. Listen, it
Yeah.
wasn't pretty by Joe by any means, 22 of 38, a pick, but the Colts stuck around. Will Levis is not good. They cannot get any offense going with Will Levis. They have got to make a change. They have talked about not making a change, and it's not Will Levis's fault. It's starting to look like it's a lot of Will Levis's fault.
He's not doing a great job, I can tell you that much. But even more than that, I think I want to blame Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
Eight targets, 0 receptions, and I want to say I watched at least 6 drops from him on good balls and on ones that probably would have in total netted him 80 yards at least. And he just was dropping everything. Like, Calvin Ridley looked terrible in that game and would have absolutely boosted this stat line. We probably wouldn't have been talking about Levis like this. On those 8 targets, if he had gotten 6 of them, we're looking at a 22 for 27 day and probably like 170 yards, a much closer stat line to what Joe Flacco had. Like, I put a big part of this on Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley wanted the ball more. The coach said they're going to get him the ball more. I put it as part of my parlay. They threw him the ball 8 times, the most targets of any player, and he fucking dropped almost all of them. So a big part of this for me, as bad as Levis looked in general running that offense, a big part of it for me has to go on Calvin Ridley.
I don't blame that. Not one bit. Colts get the win. Titans drop to 1-4. Moving on to our next game. This game got out of hand quick. Texans, very good. Patriots, not great. But we did see the first appearance of Drake May. Drake May, ups, downs, some fun moments for sure. Leading rusher, like, Drake May looks like he's gonna be okay. That offense was much more efficient with Drake May than it was with Jacoby Brissett. They scored more fucking points, but the Patriots are not a great team. What did you see out of this, man? I mean, the Texans, it seemed like a foregone conclusion that this was going to turn out this way.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots showed a little bit of fight early on. Drake May he didn't look terrible by any means. Like, he showed to have a good arm. He have some good mobility. It is definitely a lack of talent and a bunch of rookie hiccups and bumps along the way. But as scared as I was for him, he didn't look absolutely terrible in this one. Like, It looked like there's some runway there for him to get better for sure. But look, Texans are just a much better team. This is closer to the team that I expected them to be. You're also going up against the Patriots, though, which pretty rough team here. So throwing up 41 against them isn't as surprising as you would expect. Good game from the Texans. They just obviously traded away a running back, not named Joe Mixon, to my Vikings. A triumphant return of Cam Akers, old two ankles. Just can't keep a fucking Achilles.
Zone. It's outside the zone.
But yeah, can't keep his Achilles healthy at all. But hey, he's back in the Vikings for a conditional 6th and a conditional 2nd or 7th in 2 years from now. So I'm fucking okay with that. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Cam Akers would come in. You know what he's been in the system before. He knows what you guys do,
and he's looked good when he hasn't been injured.
At times, yeah, he has looked good. I was really high on Cam Akers when he came into the league, man. Like I thought he was going to be an absolute stud. And then the Achilles and things just kind of wore him down, and he has not been the same player, but has some ability for sure. But move on to the next game, man. Buccaneers go into New Orleans and stomp the shit out of the Saints. Baker Mayfield puts up a fuckload of yards, fuckload of touchdowns, and looks like old school Jameis Winston by throwing a fuckload of picks as well. 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. Spencer Rattler makes his appearance. Has an okay day. Not terrible, not great by any means. I mean, threw a couple of picks, but the Buccaneers up and down the field could do anything they wanted, it felt like, unless Baker was making a mistake and turning it over.
Yeah, like this was the week of kind of explosive, big offensive games for some of these teams. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were right there along with the other teams like the Lions and those Texans. Big days from guys that you wouldn't expect. Sean Tucker, rookie running back, 14 carries, 136 yards, like big stat line from him out of nowhere. Bucky Irving also had a good day. I think this kind of goes to show that the number 1 on the depth chart running back there, Rashad White, really is not that great. When Bucky was already taking his job, and well, yeah, he was hurt and not playing in this game, which is why Sean Tucker got so much run. But I mean, the fans of the Buccaneers that I am friends with have all been raving about Tucker for a while and wanted to see more of him. And Rashad White is just kind of been milquetoast average, just whatever type of running back. So seeing him go out there, get a big day, it confuses the hell out of me what they're going to do with this backfield because Bucky's looked good. Sean Tucker, I think I said he was a rookie. He was a rookie last year, I think. Either way, like he's someone that people have really liked and looked good. I don't know who you would start, especially from a fantasy perspective in this backfield anymore, because they're probably going to keep on leaning on Rashad White, but Bucky's the guy to go for probably, but they have some talent there. And then, yeah, it seemed like there was no defensive pushback at all from this Saints team.
Yeah, the Saints are down bad. The offense was going to struggle, obviously. Still got up some points, but, I mean, the Bucs were up and down the field, so their defense had to be on the field all goddamn game. I mean, the Saints scored 27 points in the second quarter and didn't score in any other fucking quarters. That's absurd. Made for an interesting game for sure, but the Saints team is not great. That the explosiveness that we thought we were going to see, possibly with this new offense, is fizzled away. The Saints are who we thought they were.
Yeah, the Kubiak offense, like I kind of brought this up initially, like I wasn't impressed with Kubiak in his time with Minnesota, and I kind of thought this might be a flash in the pan, and sure as hell seems like it was.
Yeah, it seems like it absolutely was. But let's do this. Let's roll into the next game, man.
Yeah, let's roll into this one.
All right, Browns lose, drop to 1-5 out in Philly. Philly improves to 3-2. Jalen Hurts has a better day. Not a great day, but a better day. Deshaun Watson, decent second half, but the Browns still lose. We don't run the ball well. We can't catch, but the guy who is mainly responsible for dropping all the balls here in Cleveland has been shipped away from Cleveland. The Browns stink. There's no other way to say it, man. Like, we just stink. We are going to start this fire sale. Amari Cooper was the first signing of the fact that this season is done. We didn't recoup any player. We just got a pick. Picks are great. That pick ain't happening right now. That pick is next year. We're already looking at next year. At this point, it makes no sense to do anything but get rid of assets, with the exception of a couple. Got to keep Myles Garrett. Outside of Myles Garrett, there's Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Judy's been really nice, a really, really nice piece. I'd like to see what he can do with Kevin Stefanski in this offense continuing going forward. But offensive linemen are going to get traded. We're going to get no more wide receivers will get traded. We'll see some defensive guys go. Zadarius Smith could be on the block for sure.
That's what I was going to say. Teams are probably looking for some defensive line rush end help. Zadarius Smith makes some sense there. Yeah, look, it's something that we talked about before the game, that there might be fire sales happening. And so to see Amari Cooper leave town, there had already been rumblings for a while about different trade destinations for him, even, leading up to the season. So it's not surprising to see this move happen. I think a pretty fucking solid get for the Bills. But it is a signal that you guys are kind of looking to the future rather than this season. You probably are kind of cashing in at this point. And that would make me feel like it's the time to start to play other guys in positions to see what you've got, including the quarterback position. Though, Big Cat, Barstool, I don't know if you saw his theory on the whole situation.
So I've seen Barstool talk about, specifically Big Cat and PFT, talk about Deshaun and what's going on.
Being a punishment. They're saying maybe that they're playing the reason why they're playing Deshaun Watson is because they know he's getting away with everything, paying off all those lawsuits and everything. And the only way to degrade him more is to continue to put him on the field. So that way he is just publicly shamed week in and week out. And it helps drive your way towards getting the number 1 overall pick.
It's entirely possible that we are going to have the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah. It's bad, but this is the time to start flipping in other players and letting them play. This is the thing that the main thing that I don't like that has happened is that they trotted Stefanski out there for the press conference and they said that Deshaun Watson is going to continue to be our starting quarterback because he gives us our best chance to win. And then a day later to flip Amari Cooper for some okay mid-round, third round picks next year. It's a sign that you aren't really worried about your best chance to win right now. And you know it, you're just saying it, and you do different actions, right? So why put Stefanski up to do that, man? Give the guy some, credibility or something like that. Let him save face a little bit. I don't want to say that he's complicit in it. He's
got to do it. He has to do it. He's going to have to say, but no, he doesn't give us the best chance. He's going to fucking have to bench him. He is getting fired. Like, there's no way around it. Whether you like Stefanski or not, and I particularly am kind of a fan of him, even though there are times where I think he does some fucking idiotic things. I am a fan of Coach Stefanski because he has brought the most consistent culture of winning to the Browns since they have come back. Yeah. So that sucks. But, he is going to go down. He is going to be fired. Andrew Berry is going to be fired.
Didn't they just re-sign Andrew Berry?
Yes, both of them just got new deals. Somebody is going to have to admit a mistake somewhere. And that's the thing. Which mistake are you willing to admit? Are you going to admit, no, we should not have re-signed Kevin and Andrew to those extensions? We thought that they could handle the situation with Deshaun better and make this team better, and that didn't happen. Or are we going to say Deshaun was the problem and we fucked up with this trade. We put our team in a bad spot by not being able to acquire additional talent and putting ourselves in cap-strapped hell. So one of those two things is going to have to come to fruition, or we're just going to play this out for the next 3 years and we're going to be terrible. And then when it's all said and done, we're like, man, you guys remember when we fucking sucked dick for 3 straight years and had the worst contract in history? Yeah, that was fun. Start all over again. Like come on, man. I don't get it. But nothing is going to change unless we get shellacked this week by the Bengals at home. Divisional game. Bengals are not good in Cleveland at all. We kick the shit out of Joe Burrow all the time, and Nick Chubb makes his fucking triumphant return as a Cleveland Brown. If we go out there and look like dog shit on offense, the boos are going to be so loud. You will hear it on TV through the speakers. You will hear the chants for Winston and the boos. People are fed up. People want this saga to end, but there's absolutely no end in sight. Just be ready for the fire sale. Just think of all those nice new shiny picks our new GM is going to get to use to pick players who might be good for this team at some point.
That's also the surprising thing about it is, do you think Andrew Berry thinks that he has a chance to survive this? Because otherwise, why impetus does he have to make any of these moves rather than just kind of like drive this ship into the ground? And, would you fire a GM mid-year and institute a guy saying like, hey, you're in an interim basis. You need to make all of these business decisions for us and acquire assets for
he's not going to be fired. He won't be fired mid-season. That'll happen at the end of the year. I don't think Stefanski gets fired mid-season either. I think they will. Everybody's going to toe the company line until the end of the season, and then we'll see a fucking mass sweep through the entire organization. Is my guess.
Alrighty. Well, look, on the flip side of this, the Philadelphia Eagles, they get a win. They don't get a very confident-looking win against you guys.
We're one of the worst teams in football, and they had Super Bowl aspirations and barely beat us.
And of course, that means Sirianni gets to chirp at his own fans, right? Fucking bonehead move. What a douchebag. Like we've talked about how shitty of a coach he is. And then to just kind of be chirping at your own fans and be like, yeah, we just stopped down on this team that is in the gutter already and we barely beat them. Suck my dick. Like, what are you doing? Like,
read the room, Sirianni. Read the fucking room.
I would get off the field as quick as possible and be quiet during my press conference and be like, we need to fix a lot of things because that was too close for comfort. Not acting like we just did it. we got a W when we were expected to. What the fuck? Like,
yeah, all W's are good, but not all W's feel good. This was not a feel good win by the Eagles.
No, not at
by
all.
Any means.
I'd still be embarrassed if I was Bobber Goblin. All right, next game up. Yeah, Commanders Ravens. This one was a good game, pretty close. Ravens win 30-23. We got to see not the downfall of the rookie quarterback out there in Washington, but he definitely was brought back down to earth a little bit.
Still had a good fucking day.
Oh, for sure. Just not like what he had been having, 269 and 2 touchdowns. And then he was able to run for another 22. It's not as big as he had been playing. Still a good day, but not the same. But on the flip side, Lamar, great day, 323 yards passing, touchdown, and an interception, but and another 40 yards on the ground rushing. And Derrick Henry just had himself another monster game. That whole we're not giving the ball to him 20, 25 times a game. Out the fucking window because obviously it's a different situation when you just run his ass into the ground. The Baltimore's figuring out who they are right now. That's good for them.
Yeah, Baltimore is starting to really catch their stride. It looks really good. Commanders had a chance in this game, but I think their lack of a run game is really what fucked them. Not having Brian Robinson available in that game. Austin Eckler did not have a good day. I mean, their leading rusher was Jaden Daniels. While, a quarterback can be your leading rusher and lead you to victory, a la Lamar Jackson several fucking times, it's not the way you want your rookie quarterback to try to win. So them not being able to develop a running game kind of hurt them. But most of these teams are very good. Commanders, I think, will continue to be good. Little slide back here. That's going to be a fun matchup. There's this like proximity rivalry between the Commanders and the Ravens. I don't think they'll develop a rivalry on the field unless they start running into each other in like Super Bowls and shit. So, but yeah, good game. Very, very good game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next up, we have the Chargers and Broncos, and Chargers were able to get a dub despite Harbaugh going off the field and coming back with an arrhythmia or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw all that.
Arrhythmia.
Like
He said it's the second time it's happened.
Yeah, and he's 2-0 with arrhythmias or whatever. Yeah, it was weird seeing a coach just kind of like walk off to the blue tent to get checked out, which made me think like either he's got the flu or maybe he's having a fucking heart attack, which would be a little bit scary. But Chargers have themselves a good day. I want to say I brought up Kamani Vidal. I liked him as a rookie. I liked that he was going to be playing this game. Yeah, he only had 4 rushes for 11 yards, but he also got himself 2 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown, and it was a beautiful fucking touchdown. And that's the type of shit that I like to see, hands like that. He could be your next Austin Eckler type of guy in this system, given enough time to develop. Kamani Vidal, my dude. But overall, an okay day from the Chargers. Look, we're talking about 2 teams here that are a little bit more slow and steady. They aren't the big offensive firepower teams. Chargers just have a little bit more offense, and the Broncos have a little bit more Bo Nix.
Yeah, Bo Nix, I mean, listen, had a decent day, had a couple of shots, continues to run the ball well, needs to improve the accuracy. Deep ball kind of failed him a few times in this game. Broncos are going to be around. That defense is going to keep them in games. Can they score enough? Not this week. Chargers bounce back and get a win. You know what? And I'm super pumped for J.K. Dobbins, man. J.K. Dobbins is having kind of a resurgence year. Ooh, come on. What's the call there, Blue? Sorry, we got bases loaded, no outs. Josh Naylor at the plate.
And J.K. Dobbins' resurgence year, I think this is just like he's having a healthy year. We've always thought he's a good running back. He's just having a healthy year, which kind of calls into play the whole comeback player of the year thing. Would he be available or up for it? I don't know if he's going to be looked at it like that because as good as he's been playing, he's still kind of a sleeper as a running back. But having a hella good year, and this is a team that's built to just kind of ground and pound.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to throw the ball. You don't want any of their receivers, though, when it comes to fantasy. Oh, come on, Josh. Damn, he just got under it. Oh, my God, he just missed a home run. There's one. All right, fighting our way back in here, boys. Yeah, their receivers are not great. They're going to spread the ball around, as you can see from this box score. But you know what? Chargers are going to be competitive. They'll run the ball well. They'll play defense. They'll do the Harbaugh thing. Hopefully Harbaugh stays healthy and there's no more scares, arrhythmias, or anything else on the sidelines.
All righty. Next up, Steelers-Raiders. This was the last game that Devontae Adams didn't play for the Raiders because he's been shipped off to the Jets. And it was obvious that it was going to happen because he just appeared on Pat McAfee's show this morning with Aaron Rodgers. So he was already in town. Deal was probably already done, and it's probably why he didn't play. Probably wasn't his hamstring. And it kind of comes into question, like, are the Raiders going to also be doing a fire sale? They're 2-4, so they're not in as dire straits as, say, your Browns or the Jags or anything like that. But, I mean, there's a lot of rumors swirling around Max Crosby, and they could probably get a haul for him, especially from a team like a Detroit Lions who really could use that pass rush help right now. Max Crosby seems like a Dan Campbell type of guy. Do you think that there's any possibility that they let Max Crosby go when he's kind of one of the foundational players on this team right now?
I think that is entirely possible. I don't know that Max wants to be traded, though, man. He likes Vegas. He likes being a Raider. Like, that's him as a persona as well.
I agree, but I feel like the Motor City Kitties and Dan Campbell, he would fit in just as well there.
He would be a perfect fit.
he has talked about, like, if Devontae goes, I want to go type situation. So,
Hey, listen, it would make sense. It would make sense as for the Lions as well, based on what happened with Hutchinson, because they're definitely going to try to make a run at the Super Bowl. They have the juice to do it this year. Thank you. It would make a lot of sense. This team is bad. Aiden O'Connell came in, had an okay day, I guess, but like they still can't run the ball. This team is just not efficient at all. The Steelers found a way to continue to just keep putting up points. Like it,
they switched back to what they were good at. Not a
yeah,
high volume pass offense and a lot of running the ball, a lot of utilizing Justin Fields in his legs. He gets 59 yards and 2 touchdowns. You got Najee Harris going out there going for over 100 yards and a touchdown. And then you're able to just kind of be blasé with Justin Fields as a passer, 145 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Like, you can kind of be loose with the passing game because you are able to hold the game on the run game and let your super solid defense just kind of stomp out this Raiders offense that has no juice right now.
yeah. That's Steelers football. They are 4-2 as well. Still good. I mean, tied for first in the division now, I believe, with the Ravens. So yeah, they're gonna keep fighting. They're gonna if they play this style of football, they'll beat a lot of teams. They'll definitely beat teams like the Raiders. So
And I want to give a quick shout out to the backup right tackle for the Raiders who has been starting for Thayer Munford. DJ Glaze, rookie right tackle DJ Glaze, didn't allow a single pressure to TJ Watt in this game.
that's
The
good.
only guy to not allow TJ Watt a pressure in like years. And DJ Glaze has been outstanding since he's been starting there at right tackle. He's been I don't know how many games he's been playing, but he's been fantastic while he's been in there. So they might have found a gem, a guy that I don't recognize that fucking name at all, and he is a rookie.
Okay. All right. DJ Glay. What a dope fucking name, by the way.
Yeah. Fucking
DJ Glay.
I would be in trouble with that name. I'm gonna glaze your mom, motherfucker. Like, I'd be glazing everybody, you know.
Glazed.
Everyone wants some of the glaze. Let me give it to you. All righty. Next up, we have yet another fucking blowout with a very bittersweet end. Lions, Cowboys. Lions get the win 47-9 in Dallas on Jerry Jones' birthday. But that's not the bittersweet ending that I was talking about. Aiden Hutchinson with an absolutely disgusting, terrible leg injury, broken tibia and fibula. And if you haven't seen the video, it's out there. His leg just kind of wraps around one of his own players' legs. And you can, yeah, it's a nasty break. The good news for him is that allegedly there's like minimal to no ligament damage or musculature damage, which is very surprising given the break. Just bone stuff. He's had the surgery, and with bones like that, by this time next year, actually into training camp next year, he will probably be stronger in that part of his leg than he was before. Bones heal stronger, and it's the ligaments and stuff that take time to heal and get back used to it. Like, he's going to be better for those of you who are Lions fans watching this. He should be able to come back strong and durable in that leg. It's just he was on an MVP fucking pace as a defensive lineman this year. I can't recall the exact stats, but it's like on true passing downs where he was being only single blocked, he had like a 59% pressure rate, which is ungodly. When or no, that that was when he was being single blocked. When he was being doubled, I think he had like a 39% pressure win rate. Myles Garrett was the next highest at like 27, 28%.
That's higher than Miles, and Miles is really fucking high.
You know, and Hutchinson was leading the league in sacks. And this is the thing. He was the only Detroit Lions pass rusher. They could put all of their blocking packages towards Hutchinson, and he still was winning and still doing incredible fucking things. He was having a hell of a year. So to see him go down, like, yes, my Vikings are playing the Lions this week. That helps us in the game, but it's not what I want to see because, like, he is been fucking so good. And that's a test that I want to see on my tackles. Because my tackles have performed well. I would have loved to have seen that, but big time fucking loss for the Lions. Their weaknesses have been on defense. They haven't had any sort
Go
of
get
pass
Max.
rush other
Go
than
get Max
Hutchinson.
Crosby.
And then their secondary has been extremely suspect still. So now that secondary's potentially going to get worked even more if they don't have any other pass rush. The guys that they have starting right now, because their other defensive end, I can't remember his name, signed from the Vikings this year. And the reason I can't remember his name because we signed him from the Saints the year prior and he never played because he was hurt. And now he's on IR with the Lions, fucking hurt for the year. They have a ton of fucking injuries and no pass rush to be present. Like you're talking practice squad level guys at some points for this Detroit Lions defense. They're the obvious candidate to go out there and get a pass rusher from anyone that is looking to sell a pass rusher. So Darius Smith makes a ton of sense. He could be on his third NFC North team here before too long. And I don't think that you have to give up a ton to go out there and get it as Darius. If you go for Max Crosby, you are talking 2 first-round picks probably.
Oh, for sure.
You are talking about the package that was used by the Bears to get Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the Lions want to mortgage their future like that to get a Max Crosby, even though it would probably
imagine pairing Max and Aiden Hutchinson for the next at least 3 years.
Yeah, it'd be really fucking nasty.
Yeah,
really fucking nasty. And I mean, for 2 first-round picks, that might be worth it. Like your offense is already pretty stacked.
Imagine over the next 3, because you'll re-sign Max to a new deal. You have Aiden Hutchinson on the second year of his deal. He's definitely getting the 5th-year option picked up. Like the lie, it would make a shitload of sense, and they could do it for relatively cheap, like money-wise, because Aiden's still on that rookie contract. You're not worried about it until the 5th year. So if you can afford to pay Max, you could go and chase that Super Bowl this year and potentially set that squad up for years to come with an excellent pass rush.
Yep. We got Joe Rockstar popping in here. We already talked about your team, obviously, but yep, Ricky Pearsall is back in his practice window. CMC back after the bye. It's possible. I guess he's been around. I'm not too worried about CMC though, like with how good you guys have been running the ball. I don't know what's the status on Jordan Mason in that shoulder, but I mean, between Mason and Garendo, you guys have looked pretty good as a running back. So I would not rush CMC back anytime soon. Let him get healthy so that way he can be a strong push for the playoffs. And then getting Greenlaw and Talanoa Fufanga back. Those will be big additions.
Is this true? Does the NFC run through? I don't know.
I think it runs through the North right now. NFC North, the best division in football by a long shot.
Yeah. You guys have the top 4 teams in point differential. I saw this stat today. Yeah. All reside in the fucking NFC North.
Yeah. Our win-loss record for the division is pretty fucking impressive. And that's with the Bears kind of being meh. You know?
All right, so we have sung the praises of the Lions. Dude, the fucking Cowboys suck.
Yeah, Mike Zimmer might off himself. Like, so disrespectful. But, like, God, it's been like his defense has not looked good since playing your Browns.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, they're missing a lot of guys. Lawrence was out. Micah Parsons was out. Eric Kendricks goes down with injury. Like, they are missing a lot of guys there, but not 47 points bad. And a big part of that is the offense. Where the fuck is Dak Prescott? You have no running game, so you're completely lopsided, just having to pass the ball. You've got one consistent guy. You've got one consistent guy in CeeDee Lamb. Like, it's a rough situation. That the team is just injuries on defense, lopsided with one big weapon on offense, and not a whole lot else. We done boys, but not this year ever again. Like, that's bad. 9 points is really bad, really embarrassing. Happy birthday, Jerry.
Yeah. Speaking of Jerry, apparently he said that he's the best option for running this team, running this thing as a GM. He has fucked this whole thing up. We talked about it in kind of the offseason leading up to Dak was not going to get a contract. We had talked about it for forever. And then Dak, right before the Browns game, they come in with this massive contract for Dak. And Dak is not the guy. Now they got to pay him. I'm going to Cowboys
we
fans,
said it before the season as
ready for a shitty ride because I can tell you how this works. Now, Dak is not Deshaun Watson. He's better than Deshaun. But when you are paying this much money for mediocre, at best, fucking quarterback play, it tanks your entire franchise.
we said it, at least I know I did before the year, as a reckless speculation. They're going to move on from Dak. They're going to maneuver however they have to get Shadur Sanders, get Jerry's guy down there as the new quarterback. And then they went out and they give Dak this big contract, and we think, oh, it's not going to happen. I don't know. Like, if things keep going this bad, they might legitimately look to trade Dak off. Like, that's a big contract, and they're probably going to have to carry some of the options. I mean, Miami could be an option. You guys could be an option if you want to take on another super high-priced quarterback.
No. We cannot. We're going to pay the entire fucking salary cap to quarterbacks. We're going to be paying fucking $20 to every high school kid in Cleveland to come and fill out the fucking roster.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that you guys would be looking to trade him to a New York Giants, a division rival, or anything like that. And honestly, I think that if New York doesn't get their guy, they're going to stick with Danny Dimes this upcoming season the way that he's playing. But I mean, there's options out there. There's always a team that needs a quarterback.
Yeah, there are. Do they need Dak Prescott at that price, though?
If you want to trade him for a 4th-round pick. That's the cost of doing business in jury world. No, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I think that this is going to be another one of those situations where the ownership which is the GM and the head coach and everyone's going to go down in flames with the ship. I mean, McCarthy might not be long in the tooth for having this job either. I could see him firing Zim this quick, but I think that it'll probably be like a dual firing where McCarthy's going to go down and Zimmer's going to go with him, and then you're going to have just a bunch of other people step up. Who's the special teams coordinator there? I can't think of his name.
I do not know.
No, he is well known. I can't think of his name.
Judge?
Who?
Mike Judge?
No. Who's going to get it quicker?
John Fossil.
Yeah. Fossil. I feel
John Fossil was out there.
I remember from Hard Knocks. I could see him taking over as the interim head coach. John Bones Fossil. But yeah, I don't know if things keep going this bad and the losses get embarrassing like that. Yeah, Mike McCarthy might actually be done out there.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy probably will be done. The Cowboys' offensive game plans are terrible. Dak has to do everything because they can't run. Ezekiel Elliott, 8 carries, 17 yards. What are we doing?
They can't afford a running back apparently. But you see a whole bunch of other teams bringing in fucking Jags and drafting guys who are getting good production.
You can get a dude off the street.
The Cowboys fans wanted Braylon. They wanted Braylon Allen, and they let him pass by. You know, you have guys like Kamani Vidal who are going in the later rounds who probably are better than what you got right now. Like, I don't think there's really a good excuse for the situation that they're in. Other than Jerry's just not really good at his job anymore.
No, he's not. But all right, let's stop burying the Cowboys.
That's going to get us a lot of love on social media.
Oh, dude, yeah. I will definitely clip that one. Man, yep. People love if you talk shit about the Broncos or if you talk about the Cowboys. People are in the comments.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, next game we got Falcons and Panthers. Panthers actually hung in this one for a little bit longer than I might have expected. But the Falcons ultimately get the win 38-20. And look, I guess it's kind of pick your poison here for Atlanta. You've got 2 running backs that are able to put up good amount of yardage versus this shitty Carolina defense. I personally, and I hate to say this, if I'm an Atlanta fan, I just wish Tyler Algier would like tear his ACL or something, so Bijan can be the guy.
What Tyler Algier is the more right option for that offense.
Maybe, but I feel like they're just not using Bijan enough and getting him going because they're mixing it up so much. It didn't matter in this game. 18 carries for Algier, 105 yards and 1 touchdown. And then Bijan, 15 carries, 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. Everything in the running game was fucking working. It was working for him. Not much was going wrong on offense overall. Like Kirk didn't have to go bananas or anything like that. And the Falcons defense, for what it's worth and how bad they are at rushing the passer, which, by the way, they got a total of 0 sacks again in this game. They didn't have to do much because Carolina's defense is atrocious and Carolina's offense is putting some pieces together, but they're still not going to be like, you need to have some semblance of a defense to make that work. Dalton, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a very average game. I think I said that with his first game back. I was like, you're guaranteed to get 2 touchdowns with Dalton. And you're probably guaranteed to get 2 interceptions. That's kind of who he is you're not going to see a huge disparity between the touchdowns and interceptions. And he's not going to completely tank a game for you with interceptions either. He's just going to kind of be, boom bust all over the place type situation for you. But we saw some really good catches there from like Xavier Legette. Deontay Johnson got a little bit more involved. It's nice to see some things happening with this offense. Jatavian Sanders actually looking good out there at tight end. And Chuba Hubbard, 18 carries,
I know
92
you're not
yards.
a fan, but listen, man, he finds ways. He is a professional running back. He is a dude that maybe is not a game breaker, not going to be the dude you want every down, but he is an efficient guy. Kind of reminds me of a Charbonnet, like very similar things that they can do. So I like Hubbard a little bit more than you do, but I know I like Algier more than you do. I am a big, like when we talked about it when Bijan was coming in, I thought that there would still be a role for Algier because I think he's a really good back. And I'm telling you, I think he's the better back for what they want to do to make this system go. Where they need to get Bijan more involved is in the fucking passing game. He can't have that few of targets. He has to have more touches through the air. That's how they really need to utilize him. And then this offense goes. But given Algier, 12, 15 carries a game is good for this offense, in my opinion, and should continue to happen. 18 is a lot, but they were kicking the shit out of the Panthers here at the end of the game.
And look, I know we're talking a lot about trades and trade destinations, things like that. The trade deadline is November 5th, and don't worry, there is nothing else important going on that day. But with the trade deadline coming up here in just a couple weeks, we got to look at some of these teams
days.
Yeah, we got to look at a couple of these teams that could potentially move some assets to help themselves along, or that could be looking for assets. And running back is a spot where the Falcons have a wealth of talent right now. Like Bijan should be their guy, even though I know you say that, Algier is the better fit. I think that Bijan can be the guy if he is getting the bulk of the work. And I don't think that this offense is predicated on having a 2 running back system. So you could trade Algier. Bijan is probably going to be a long-term future. Unless you want to try to trade Bijan to someone like the Cowboys who absolutely need that running back and you could probably fleece him for like 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
That's not out of the question for Bijan. He's a Texas guy. Jerry loves that, right? The fans would love that. On the flip side, you got Chuba Hubbard, who, like I said, I'm not a huge fan, but Chuba's been above average. And you're about to have a really good running back come back from injury there. And Chuba's just going to kind of work down the depth chart. And he's not your long-term plan. Your rookie running back should be the plan, not just this year, but years going forward in the future. So get rid of Chuba. There are teams that need running backs. Get rid of Chuba. You can maybe get a 3rd or 4th round pick for him at this point because he is a serviceable starting running back. And look forward to the future because you guys aren't going to the playoffs this year.
No, I mean, and looking around the NFL, places where they could use a running back where it would make sense. it becomes a little tougher to kind of find a home for him. The NFC is actually looks pretty good right now, the way they're running the ball. You guys just made a trade. You're not trying to go in and do anything too big or too crazy at the running back spot. I mean, you look out in the NFC East, you got Saquon. The only team that needs a running back that thinks that they're going to eventually compete this year is the fucking Cowboys, and the weakness is glaring.
Yeah, looking around, other than that, I could see like the Chiefs do have Kareem Hunt, but with their
They're going to
injuries
get
and stuff,
Pacheco back, though, right? He's
I don't
designated.
know. I mean, didn't he have a leg break? He might be designated to return, but that could be a while. I think that he's an 8+ week recovery timeline for his injury. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Looking around elsewhere, yeah, there isn't a ton of spots that could really for sure use him. Patriots could go with more of a platoon backfield as well if they wanted to bring him in there. Um, but yeah, I guess there's not a ton else. A lot of other options out there. He's someone that I would have considered if my Vikings were able to trade the same compensation that we did for Akers to bring in, just as another option.
Pacheco was expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. So it could be a while, and the way they've had injuries there, it's not going to hurt to rotate him, and they'll find a way to use him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that a little bit.
We also are still a couple weeks away from November 5th. Again, that's the trade deadline. Nothing else special happening that day. More running backs absolutely could go down between now and then, which could drive the market up.
Yeah, for sure.
But with that, we can move on to our Sunday night game. Bengals and Giants. Bengals get the win 17-7. Pretty boring game.
This game fucking sucked. It was boring as shit.
For as good as the Bengals offense is, they were going up against a good Giants defense. I think this is something that I'm going to keep hammering home. That Giants defense is not terrible. Like, they are pretty solid, especially in the front seven. That is going to disrupt things in the pass game and the run game, obviously. Another solid, unspectacular, though, day for my guy, Tyrone Tracy, 50 yards and a touchdown. Not a ton of running on the ground other than from Daniel Jones. But it's the strength of the Bengals, their offense going up against the strength of the Giants, their defense, and it resulted in a very low-scoring game, and one where the opposite team's defenses and offenses just weren't able to do much because they aren't much of strength either. So, like, it was
Daniel Jones should have been able to
watch.
put up more points against this Bengals defense. I feel like he's been on a decent run, could not get it done, has the pick, is also their leading rusher. So, I mean, Tyrone Tracy, I know you like him. Kind of a mad back. They need Malik Neighbors back in this offense. I think the fact that he's missed some time now and the rapport is being built with these other receivers is going to be a good thing when he does get back, because I don't think that there's going to be any problem with Malik when he gets back. He's going to drop right back in and fucking hit the ground running.
It seems like they have a triplet of guys who do a lot of the same sort of things. Obviously, Malik Neighbors is the athletic freak out of that group, but a lot of the short, intermediate, underneath stuff can be done by Wan'Dale Robinson, can be done by Darius Slayton and Malik Neighbors. And then you have one guy to take that deep shot in Jalen Hyatt. Like, they have an interesting wide receiver room there if Daniel Jones can get him the ball.
Yeah. Well, and it's the thing. If Daniel Jones can get him the ball, struggled in this game, the completion percentage is just barely above fucking 50%. That's not good enough. It's not good enough in any aspect. Jesus, that was a terrible commercial to look down at. Smile too, by the way, it looks scary if you catch it out of the side of your fucking eye. Yeah, this game sucked though. It was not fun to watch.
I'm pretty sure I turned it off halfway through, brought the Xbox into the room, and watched the lady play Grand Theft Auto 5, because I was like, you know what? I want to see what you got in this game.
How many hookers did she jack for their money?
0. She was just struggling to chase a dude down on her motorcycle for a mission in a car. This is why I don't let her drive on road trips.
There you go. There we go.
I love you, babe. You're an okay driver.
All right, man. Let's move it on to our Monday night game. Buffalo at the New York Jets. Only one of those teams is actually from New York, and it's not the one with New York in their name. Buffalo gets the win 23-20. Josh Allen has a bounce back. Not a great day, but has a bounce back day. Aaron Rodgers, much better day. Brees Hall, much better day. They still fucking lose.
I want to say, did you watch this game?
I watched a little bit of this game, man. I was
I came
my ass off to get this project done.
I came away feeling like the Bills really blew the Jets out, and it was a combination of ungodly terrible officiating, not to beat that drum more, along with like a late last second Hail Mary that happened to fucking convert by the Jets before halftime. But like the reason why I feel like the Jets were in this game was because of the officiating. I don't know if you saw my tweet, because I don't do that very much, but I gave props to Aaron Rodgers, and that never happens, because in his post-game presser, he was like, yeah, officiating was pretty bad. There was a roughing the passer call on me. Absolutely wasn't. It was just a tackle. And they called roughing the passer. And then you have the officials and rules analysts being like, why did they call that a roughing the passer? And they're like, he didn't put body weight into him. Maybe they thought he was twisting him some. And it's like, no, he was just trying to strip the ball out. AJ Epinesa was trying to strip the ball out, so it looked a little more aggressive. There was nothing to it. Like, it was a good, solid sack. And they gave him a 15-yard personal foul and extended the drive because that was third down. Like, it seemed like the refs, which I want to say there was like fucking 19 plus penalties called this game. It was an insane amount of penalties. A lot of them are going against the Bills and keeping the Jets in the game. It was pissing me the fuck off. And then when Aaron Rodgers goes in the presser and completely calls out the refs, if he doesn't get fined, like
Aaron Rodgers will absolutely get fined. He also absolutely doesn't give a fuck.
But yeah, for sure. But that's not really the story of the day. Like, in this game, Josh Allen looked solid. Rookie Ray Davis had himself a hell of a day. 97 yards rushing, another 55 yards receiving. Really good day for Ray Davis. Dalton Kincaid looked good out there. I still am not super happy with all of the receiving options that they got there in Buffalo, but that's why you go out and you get yourself an Amari Cooper for a reasonable price. Like, that's going to help them out tremendously. Big get for them. Brees Hall has himself a fucking good day too for the Jets. 113 yards. He finally wakes up and does something. And maybe it's because they've got Downing on offense calling the plays. I don't know. Maybe not having a terrible fucking coach like Nathaniel Hackett be your play caller would help things. Who would have seen that coming? And with that, Lazard and Wilson both looked very competitive too, but now they've got a big name out there in the wide receiver room, Devontae. This whole New York Packers saga continues. And I don't know if you noticed, but Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he just got cut by the Bills to make room for Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's time for a reunion of him with Aaron Rodgers as well.
Listen, if the Jets are trying to get rid of pieces and they don't know what to do, we'll find a way. You send us Garrett Wilson, we'll toss you that third-round pick we just got for Amari Cooper.
I think they're
a fair deal.
I think they're going to be willing to get rid of Mike Williams.
Yeah, well, Mike Williams hasn't done a lot for them. Like, we have seen that Lazard has kind of been the favorite receiver of Aaron Rodgers, as we would expect, because, well, that's what he does. Outside of Garrett Wilson, who has been their best receiver, but man, Mike Williams hasn't had much of a run at all. Low target share.
Let's be real. He's done fuck all out there. Mike Williams, who's looked very good through his Chargers career, went down last year with an injury, looked good leading up to that, and now is just fucking completely washed. Maybe it's the fact that he's not on the same page at all with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is a diva. And if you aren't on the same page with him, guess what? You're fucking blacklisted. Like, not happening. So
you don't learn his fucking fancy little signs.
I feel like Mike Williams still probably has some juice. He's a big-bodied receiver. You could probably get this guy for a 7th or 6th round pick, something cheap, and he's probably got a little bit of juice left in the tank. get him out of New York, get him away from that situation, and you'll get something out of him probably. But yeah, it is literally the New York Packers out there. They have something like 9 guys who were back with the Packers. I don't know what they're fucking thinking. If they want to get rid of Breece Hall next year and bring Aaron Jones in there to be with Rodgers, like I love the way Aaron Jones has played with us this year, but I would absolutely do that. Flop Breece Hall for Aaron Jones. Yeah.
I don't know what. Hey, Aaron Rodgers is having fun tinkering with his toys. He's got a new one coming in. New to the Jets, old to Aaron. Devontae, what are we expecting to see here, man? Like, is this gonna just be Aaron Rodgers throwing it to Alan Lazard and Devontae Adams? Garrett Wilson is gonna start getting a little fucking annoyed, I feel like.
That was gonna be my comment, is I think the guy who's going to feel like the odd man out is going to be Garrett Wilson. This should open up a shitload for Garrett Wilson. It should open up stuff for Lazard too. And we probably would think that he being Rodgers, is going to lean a little more towards Lazard. I expect to see an uptick in this offense for sure, because Aaron's just going to start taking some of those deep shots towards Devontae. Devontae is still him when it comes to that. So, like the passing game, realistically, the Jets' passing attack should increase a whole bunch. It's going to be really curious. Like, if I'm Robert Saleh, I'd be like, why the fuck didn't we do this a week earlier? And maybe I keep my job. I was going to demote Hackett.
Didn't like Saleh, so we got him fucking fired. We know the answer to that question.
I was going to demote Hackett anyways. Like, yeah. You know what? I don't feel that bad for Robert Saleh because of those contract figures. He's making $20,000 a day, not being under contract. That's a pretty fucking nice life.
You don't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Or the New York media. Like, if I'm him, I'm getting back to the West Coast and just fucking enjoying that $20,000 a month. That'll probably buy you a Snickers bar out there in California. But yeah, good living for him, even though failed as a head coach in New York, but who fucking really succeeds out there other than Rex Ryan for a little bit?
Bill Parcells.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Long fucking time ago.
And he was better with the Bills, right?
Was better. Well, no, not better with the Bills.
No?
No, but Parcells won a Super Bowl with the Giants.
Was it the Giants?
Jets. I think he goes to the Jets too.
Maybe.
Cowboys, I believe. But regardless, Bills, the team from New York, gets the win. Jets lose. They're 2-4. Things are not looking great. You know what they're going to do? Just add more offensive reinforcements. That's what that team needs. That's totally going to work. Can't wait to see what happens this week.
I mean, Hassan Reddick has now got new representation and says he wants to stay there and be a Jet, which is interesting. Maybe they get a little bit of pass rush help from him. Who knows? But the Jets, I think, can probably work themselves to being a 500, maybe slightly better than 500 team. I think they're still obviously going to be competitive, and this is only going to help them bring Devontae in. But it's an uphill battle. They work themselves into a little bit of a hole for sure. So we'll see what happens there.
All right. Brother, we got a couple games that we got to get covered before we bounce out of here. We got a Thursday night game. Broncos heading out to New Orleans. Is this a revenge game? What are we calling this? Because I don't know if it's revenge. Is it Sean Payton returning down to New Orleans?
Well, I got to be honest. The two games that we're going to go over here are both absolute hammered dog dick bullshit, and I do not want to watch them. We have the Denver Broncos going with Sean Payton to face the Saints, and the Saints didn't really get rid of him. Like he
kind of retired, right?
Yeah, it was like some semi-retirement, leaving, like a weird situation. Either way, I don't really think it's a revenge game at all, because Sean Payton was the Saints until he left. Now the Saints are a shell. So looking at this game alone right now on FanDuel, we've got the Broncos favored -2.5 points and -105 odds. Saints +2.5, -115 odds. Where are you going in this one, Mike?
I'm going the Broncos, man. The Saints, they have been really bad. I still think that offense is going to struggle, even though Spencer Rattler may continue to give a little bit of spark. He played okay in this first game. Bo Nix is starting to figure some things out. We see good Bo Nix, we see bad Bo Nix. We see good Bo Nix, we see bad Bo Nix. This last game, we kind of saw bad Bo Nix. I'm expecting a little uptick indoor game, maybe a little good Bo Nix, get the ball to his guys fast on that turf. So I'm going to drop the points going Broncos -2.5.
All righty. And I want to do the same. The thought about the Saints playing kind of a shit offense and possibly being able to channel what they did the first 2 weeks still kind of rests in my mind. I don't think the Saints are that team, but they are going up against the Broncos. But the Broncos do have a stellar fucking defense. They're going to be going up against a rookie quarterback again, most likely. So I'm going to take the Broncos minus the points as well.
All right, I thought you were going to flip. I was like, you're going to go to the fucking Saints?
I haven't thought about it. And 64% of people are betting on the Saints against the spread. So
Vegas has $1 million chandeliers in all their fucking casinos for a reason. It's because 64% of the people are probably fucking wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Yeah.
And next up, our double dog dick special out in fucking Europe. The Patriots at the Jaguars. The only fun that you have from this is that Drake May is starting in. He didn't look absolutely terrible in this one. Jaguars, on the other hand, backs are against the fucking wall. They have been out there now for a week. They should be acclimated. The most acclimated team to playing out in Europe. Jags are favored -5.5 at -110 odds, or +5.5 points to the Patriots for -110 odds. Where are you going here, Mike?
Where are you getting these odds? I'm looking on FanDuel and it ain't giving me that. It's giving me nothing.
I am getting them on FanDuel.
Okay. So I got a couple of blank spots. You said 5.5?
Yep. I just refreshed again. It is 5.5, -5.5 for Jacksonville, or +5.5 for the Patriots at -110 odds for each.
Jacksonville sucks. They're not 6 points better than any team in the NFL right now. Now, the Patriots aren't very good either, but Drake May did give them some juice. They scored some fucking points. Drake May has as many touchdown passes as Jacoby Brissett, I'm pretty sure, at this point. So, Patriots plus the points makes way more sense to me than this Jags team that's down bad. Sure, they've been there, but they've been there so often. They know what to do, and they've got their fucking dicks kicked in by the Bears. I think the Patriots cover for sure. So Patriots 5.5.
I'm in the same boat, man. I think the Patriots have a chance to win this game outright. You do have Peterson and those Jags with their backs against the wall, and no one wants to corner a kitty like that. But the Patriots should be able to be within 5.5 points of this one, I would think. Like you said, the Jags aren't 6 points better than anyone right now. So they should be able to keep this relatively competitive. Drake May, big game for him. I mean, going across the ocean. Yeah, did you see that?
I did. That was fucking wild.
This is the Matrix. But going across the ocean, playing your second start in international games, got to be a wild experience. We'll see if he can handle the pressure or not. But yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots plus the points in this one as well.
All right. Patriots plus 5.5 for both of us. Brother, that is it. That is the recap of week 6 and starting to dive into week 7, Thursday night's game. You got anything else for the people before we start getting the hell out of here?
No, sir. We got 2 teams going on bye week this week, the Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys absolutely need that fucking bye week after that ass whooping. But we will get back to you on Sunday morning to go over our full slate of games. Looking forward to it. It's a big one for my Vikings, man. This is a battle for the North going up against the Lions, and Vikings are favored right now by a little bit.
Ooh. It's gonna be tough to pick that game for you, maybe. Maybe not.
I mean, I gotta ride with my boys. A little subtle foreshadowing.
All right, guys. We're gonna get out of here. Sunday morning, we will be back. We kick off at 11 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday morning. basically, we're the pregame show that you wish that you were watching on TV. We curse, we drink, we have a good time just like you because we're just a couple of normal assholes, just like you. A couple of dummy thick idiots. But we do enjoy doing this, and we enjoy being able to do it for you guys. Anybody who stops in, watches, like, subscribe, any of those things, man, we are forever grateful for that. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. Anytime you give some time to us, we cannot thank you enough. You want to interact with the show? Go to any one of the links below. We got X. Nope, wrong way. Facebook. The QR code will take you to the NoSleevesNetwork.com. Just below that. No, there we go. We got the TikTok, and I'm going to pass it off to this guy over here, Evo.
And you also have the YouTube over here. The phone line is closing.
Yes,
we do have the YouTube here.
closing.
We would really appreciate if you went to the YouTube and share this with some friends. Like us and subscribe if you could. That'd be fucking pretty dope.
That would be pretty dope, guys. We're gonna get out of here. Thank you very much. We're gonna be back on Sunday morning. I'm gonna watch the rest of this Guards game. See you guys Sunday. Evo, give the people one last word.
November 5th, trade deadline. Don't forget it.
Yep, super important day. Definitely the only thing going on that day. But with that, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. I'm Mike. That's Evo. This is the Lineman Lounge. See ya.